Joining us is head coach Bill Dungee of the Hickory Hornets as he's getting ready for his fifth season at the helm of the Hermitage School program. And, Coach, 5 years at the helm. In a blink of an eye, you've been 5 years.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I had my first senior class last year to go through all 4 years. Now, bringing in some freshmen that played peewee and midget football with my son is a little surreal that, those 5 years has gone by that fast, or we're getting into this fifth year. So really excited, though, to be doing this.
Coach, just looking back at last year, obviously there was kind of a roller coaster ride. You had some great moments, including a huge win over Grove City in the regular season, then some tough losses, just a kind of an up and down year. As you reflect on 2022, what was the difference?
I think you said it best. I think inconsistency. There was times where we looked as good as anybody in the region, and there was times we looked as bad as anybody in the region. And I think that it started with not being able to consistently run the football or stop the run. In Western PA and in that, in this league, you got to be able to do that. So that's really been our focus. Is really trying to establish ourselves on the offense and defensive lines and getting better up front, because when it, push comes to shove, you got to be able to match physicality both on the offense and defensive ends. And that creates inconsistency when you can't run and stop the run, especially, I've talked about it, 4 games, where fourth quarter it's 1-score games. And, we lost 4 of those games. So we just got to be better there and be more consistent.
Have you, at least here in year number 2, kind of settled into this region matchup and the schedule? In previous years, you'd have, a couple big games, emotional games on your schedule, and then some non-league games. But with this Region 3, it's basically every week you got a big emotional local rival game.
Yeah, I think, kind of maybe I would say underestimated the emotional part last year. We were really concerned about the physicality part and getting through that. But there's also the emotional parts, the highs and lows, the rivalries every week. So that plays a role. So, you have to adjust as a coach. I think trying to stay even keel and trying to keep your team even keel. You want to keep the energy up, but you can't get too hyped up or too low. When things go bad, you got to try to just stay even keel. And I do like the maturity that I've seen from this group throughout the off season and here into camp.
As you get ready for opening night, a couple positions are key to be filled, including quarterback. Logan Woods graduated, had a wonderful 2-year stretch. Who is penciled in right now to be your starting quarterback?
It'd be junior Xander Tellez. I think the last 4 or 5 games, Xander came in and he split time at quarterback last year as a sophomore. So that kind of really got him some invaluable experience. And he's really just been leading that room here in the off season. So he'll be the guy there. And then a senior in Parker Hilliard will back him up. Parker, has been in the office for 4 years. So it's good to have some depth there with 2 young guys behind him.
Seems like you have some of your skill players back, a lot of speed with Keenan Scullin back to being healthy, we hope, and Luke Neville and Will Hickory and Sean Kennedy. You have a really nice core of athletes on your offensive side.
Yeah, pretty much everybody from a skill guy, back besides, Ty Holland there as far as most of our production last year. So it's really great to have that coming back, and then adding in another senior who's kind of banged up last year, Tylon Cousins, I think will be another receiver outside, and then Timmy Krivosh, who's been a starter on defense the last 2 years, but he's been outstanding in the slot here in the summer. As Keenan Scullin gets back, from surgery and everything like that. So I think we're really deep, and that's not even to talk about, a couple freshmen and a couple sophomores that are just lightning fast and quick. So really excited about what we have at the skill position.
And obviously the offense and defensive line doesn't get talked enough about by anybody, including yours truly, the key to pretty much every team. Talk about your line play and what do you expect from this group?
Yeah, that's the key, Bob, is just what you said. Obviously, with skill guys, I don't think there's any worries there. I think we can match up with anybody, and I like the matchup just with our speed there, but it's up front We'll return 2 starters on the offensive line, and sophomore Luke Lewis and junior Ben Walls. But the other 3 positions, we're battling it out. I think this has the potential to be our biggest offensive line since I've been the head coach at Hickory. We have some great size. We're just young and inexperienced. We will not start a senior on the offense or defensive lines this year. It's going to be all underclassmen. So they're going to have to grow up fast, and they're going to get baptized this Saturday when we scrimmage Aliquippa. So it'll be a great test for us. But the good thing is we have about 7 or 8 guys who have been rotating in there, so it's created some good competition. And hopefully at the end, the cream rises to the top. And we have 5 guys on the O-line that can really be a cohesive group and kind of lead us this year.
Talking about your schedule, you go to Aliquippa in your scrimmage this Saturday. What do you hope to see out of your team this Saturday?
When you're going against a team like that, I think from a skill and a tradition standpoint, obviously they're very similar to Farrell. So you kind of get a look at, are we going to come out and compete? Can we match the physicality? Like I said, I think athletically we should be there, but can you match the physicality? Can you match the ability to execute with that type of toughness and, that kind of great coaching that they have there? That's the number one thing. You just want to see if we're going to compete and come out and match their physicality, because I think if we do that, then that can bode well for us when we're matching up against, the Tigers and Farrell and Grove City and other great teams in our region.
As you look at the region, I think most are saying Farrell the clear favorite, Grove City right behind them. Is that, from your perspective, the 2 teams to beat?
Yeah, I think there's no argument there. Obviously, Farrell is Farrell. I don't even think I need to elaborate on that. But then Grove City, they're the 2-time defending District 10 champion. Until somebody beats them, I think they're the favorite. So, like you said, obviously we were able to go on the road and handle them last year. The good thing about our schedule, we get Farrell, we get Grove City, and we get the Tigers at home. So that's really good. The schedule's worked out. We've been on the road at both of those places the last 3 years. But, yeah, I think when you're looking at it, you're going to have to beat some great teams no matter what if you want to compete. But I think those 2 teams are probably on top of Region 3 as far as AA and AAA going into the season.
Coach, talk a little bit about your coaching staff. If I saw a picture correct, you have 16 coaches on your team this year? Is that right?
Yeah, that's true. For me, Bob, I think the thing is now with there's not a lot of teachers coaching. So, our guys are all work full-time jobs. And so it's just trying to have enough coaches to fill slots. So, when guys get called out and stuff, I thought last year one of our struggles with consistency was some consistency within the coaching staff and trying to maneuver around schedules. So, I just went out and, I found, guys who love kids, who want to coach and, that can give some of their time. And I think it's been great. Really, it allows coaches to specialize in one specific area, offensively and defensively within special teams. And then that way, kids can get really good coaching in those areas. So, yeah, with a bigger staff, but we've had great cohesion, and I think it's working out well this offseason.
What's going to be a couple keys, Coach, for this team to contend for a region title and a District 10 championship?
I hate to be like a broken record, but Bob, for us, with the skill guys we have coming back, with the new guys I have, it's all about the big guys up front. Our trench dogs, we call them. If we can see that group mature quickly, they're going to have great size and strength, but, it's all about them maturing, playing with leverage, playing with aggression. If we can, vastly improve on the offense and defensive lines, I would put us up against anybody as far as a shot to win that. If we don't come along quickly, we could have some struggles with, the type of talent that's in our region. It's going to be tough. So that's my number one thing. Can we get back to being able we're always going to pass the ball. We're always going to play vertical. But at the end of the day, we have to complement that with a really good run game. And that's something we haven't had really the last 2 seasons.
Lastly, Coach, what's the goals this year as you get ready for the 2023 campaign?
It's pretty much the same. Our goals don't change. We set 7 goals each year. The kids know that. Every kid in the program knows that. So our goals are the same. We're going out. We're trying to compete for a region championship, a District 10 championship. We're trying to build this brotherhood of young men who are leaders in the classroom, on the field, and in the community. So, that doesn't change for us each and every year.
Bill Dungee, we appreciate your time. I know it's a busy time of the year. Best of luck, best of health, and I know we will cross paths here multiple times this season.
Thanks, Bob, and thank you guys for all you do for local high school football and local high school sports.